have a All-NBA point guard in this January 1st, starting in January 1st. That kind of makes a difference, right?
Yeah, but their offense was pretty good during the playoffs. Numbers were good.
Did they beat Boston? Did they beat Boston? Somebody said they so. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Oh, all right. That's good to know. He was also asked about playing Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson together on the court. Remember last year, Mitchell Robinson only played in 17 games, and he was on a minutes restriction. But everyone wanted Mitchell Robinson to constantly be playing with Karl-Anthony Towns. It's tough to be on a minutes restriction. Anyway, it was Mike Brown playing Cat and Mitchell Robinson together.
Once I get my staff together and we dive more into it, we'll figure out, all those types of things. I'm excited that they're both on the team, obviously, because they're two different players. Mitchell is a vertical threat. Cat, as you know, is a space threat. And so to have the versatility that those two guys bring to the table is going to be a lot of fun.
All right, so there you go there. And then, of course, you have to get the obligatory. This is the one that we played at the start of the show. I'm surprised now. I don't know if he said the Mecca, because I always felt that was part of your contract. Once you sign the contract, during your press conference, you must refer to Madison Square Garden as the Mecca of basketball. I'm not so sure Mike Brown did that. He's certainly doing it in the soundbite, but he touched on all the things that you should touch on when you become head coach of the Knicks. Here's Mike Brown's cut number one for you.
You talk about a historic franchise, Madison Square Garden.
The Mecca.
It's iconic. Fans, they're the most knowledgeable and passionate, probably in all of sports. There's a lot of work to be done. We have an outstanding roster. What they did in the playoffs shows their potential. I've had great conversations with all of our players. And I'm looking
Good morning.
forward to positive, strong relationships with all of them over time.
Phil, good morning. How you doing, man? My morning drive, I'm going to pick up my coffee.
When you listen to it,
I got a headache, so
listen,
a migraine.
Brown is not over here.
Get my coffee, get something to throw in my system, and then I could take my medication and have a great day at work.
Well, we don't know, allegedly, like Thibodeau
What's good with you?
didn't have, so the idea, I remember players wanted him out, so it's building strong relationships with the players. Not the way that I feel about the roster. A lot of guys in the NBA think, but I don't think the roster is that good. It's a good roster, it's just not a championship roster.
Dude's a
Make
hater.
sure you emphasize that the roster is good. They showed the potential of what they could be, and all those things. That had to be fed to him. If Mike Brown was talking at a bar and you were just chopping it up before you got the big job, there's no way he thinks any of those things. Any of those things.
And it's all ridiculous because Mike Brown and De'Aaron Fox were butting heads, which was part of the reason why De'Aaron Fox.
Why are you wearing that?
It happens with these bad boys,
Let me see something. I'm going to see, because I'm about to see it.
Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson obviously had great years. They both were All-NBA. Only 15 guys make All-NBA. The Knicks had two of them. But two of the Knicks, 5 stars All-NBA, and then two other guys, OG Anunoby and Josh Hart, had career years. So when you say relationships, do you really care if maybe Mikal Bridges, something was bothering him? He played for the Brooklyn Nets for 3 years. He was unhappy the whole 3 years he was there. And then once you start going down the line, you would hope that guys that don't play that much are going to be unhappy with the coach. Isn't it only natural? That to me is the competitive side of the player. So, when you say relationships, the other 4 guys had career, 2 guys were all NBA, 2 other guys had career years. Not so sure anybody cares about the relationship. At the end of the season, it just says wins and losses. It doesn't say good relationships, 10 and 5. He was 10 and 5 in relationships with the 15 players. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I guarantee you. I don't mean to use them as an example, but the New Orleans Pelicans, what a disaster they were. I guarantee you, yes, the players probably all will agree. If you're a fan of the Pelicans, do you really care?
This is
Now I'm back.
thing.
Let me read.
Going to New York and all the things.
messages.
Another thing that you have to realize, if a player did go in there, or just say 2 players or 3 players went in there, it's like, I'm not.
Why are you wearing that blank
Like,
uniform?
there's a lot of pressure on that player to now perform. They have to be better than they were before. And
We ain't gonna sit and disrespect the country.
NBA, like those guys, like the elites, can handle it. But once things start going sideways, and you were the one blaming the coach from before, they're not going to blame Mike Brown now.
Dan Harper, what's up? How you doing this morning?
Tier of people, at least
I'm in the Armed Navy. I ain't in the
the front office, maybe even ownership, or maybe even some of those players. And it's going to get out. The players that wanted Thibodeau gone, it's going to get out. So there's a difference between having pressure to, like, we want to win and all that. But there's a different pressure for being like the guy that spearheaded the coach getting fired, and now you're playing the next season. And now
I'm in the Navy.
like, ooh, you're the one that got rid of that guy. Now we're 500. Now it's
Good
your
morning, Mo.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Your sugar's inside, and a McChicken McGriddle.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
Now, your next year, you got to be. You can't also follow.
I like it when they put my
Or I'm not happy with my role. Or I'm not, any of those things happen, and you guys aren't as good as you were the year before.
I'm in a squadron in Virginia.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh wait, you said sugar and salt inside the coffee. Yeah, she did live inside the coffee. I'm in a squadron out of Virginia.
They don't think that you're the problem. They don't.
There's some sunlight in here. Maybe I feel better.
Here's one more from Mike Brown when he talks about his partnership with Leon Rose. This is
John, you sound stupid as hell. What do you mean? Is it stolen valor? Yeah, I wake up every morning, right, for the last 21 years and put on a uniform. I'd rather work at the way my knees feel. I'd rather work somewhere that's less strenuous on the body and don't take away time from my family. Don't get me wrong, I like being in the military. How you doing this morning, John? Talking about that, let me put my ID in my top pocket now. So when I get to base, I ain't gotta dig for my wallet. See, ID. So I ain't gotta dig.
That relationship also is interesting because
I need to call Walsh back.
snap back on Leon Rose. He seems like he's the one that's spearheaded the firing, even though he's playing for it. You're not going to give Tom Thibodeau $30 million and then give him a couple months later fire him. So I don't know. It's such a weird situation. They did really well.
Would you care about getting fired if you was guaranteed $30 million for 3 years after you get fired? I don't think I'd be upset about getting fired. I'm gonna still get paid $30 million for 3 years.
I think from the front office was the idea of the playoffs and how the Knicks performed in the playoffs and how they fared in the playoffs, and they lost to this.
I win.
And they lost to that team. They lost to Miami last year.
Some
You
people
lost to
probably
the Pacers. You were the higher seed.
would, but
This
not
year
me.
You lose. Oh, you were the higher seed. How do you lose?
I
to
still
Indiana?
got
That big lead.
$30 million, you know?
That's been on the first round of 2012. All of a sudden, nobody's talking about the Knicks.
Everybody that's saying hi, what's up to y'all? Hi, how you doing? I'm driving, so I can't look down to the next light, which I'm jumping on the highway, so it probably won't be until I get through the tunnel. It's a light on the other side of the tunnel.
There's going to be one change.
Let me see something.
Coaching staff. Stephen Bondy had that story, so we'll explain when we get back. This one's pretty interesting, and you can look at it a lot of different ways. We'll
Speed up past this truck.
Recently, the fam and I were listening to Sirius XM's Doctor Radio channel on a road trip, and now all my dad does is change every song lyric to something about summertime health. I mean, we did learn about sunscreen.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the support. That's thanking me for my service.
And it's all super helpful, but this is getting to be a bit much.
I don't have no thoughts on DEI. DEI is, to me, fairly new. DEI ain't come around to, 2020? we always had an equal opportunity. You know what I mean? I don't have no thoughts on that. I believe some programs need to be out there, but some programs, you know, people want to take advantage of everything. But it ain't get rid of equal opportunity programs. Why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? You flew 82s and on. I see people cutting me off. Let me pay attention real fast. Get through this tunnel. But yeah, that's why the chicken crossed the road to get to the other side. Check my coffee, man. Oh yeah, I'm about to tell you, better get over. You ain't gonna win that battle against that 16-wheeler. Just imagine you sign a contract to work at a job, they give you an extension. I think you already made, like, let's just say for simple numbers, 20 million, and then they give you an extension for 30 million, but then they fired you before the extension kicked in, but you still get the money even though you fired. I wouldn't be upset. You could literally just sit back and relax and collect $30 million over the next 3 years. So $10 million a year. Sound like a win. That's one thing when you're a coach playing in basketball, all that money be guaranteed in the NBA. So they fire you, you still get the remainder of your contract. I would move to like a state with no income tax, and no like state income tax, and pocket more, just pay my federal on it. Especially if you up in age and just call that going into retirement. I think the coach was like 68 years old. Hi. Thanks everybody who hit the like button. Double tap your screens if you're on your phone. So I ask you a little support, and if you like it, hit that subscribe button.
I read that too. I was like, I didn't know he was a head coach. I didn't know that. Like, if Thibodeau were to get sick, Brunson would coach the team. That's and Thibodeau never got kicked out of a game last year. And if he did,
I think he's only been kicked out of one game his whole career, and I think he only got one technical last season. So Stephen Bonner was viewed as a gesture by the organization. Brown more control while simultaneously addressing the distractions or perceptions of conflicts of interest that arose last season by having the star player's father as the top assistant. Ritter is said to be on board with changing seats. He was the lead assistant last season. And they said, this is what's best for the organization. with Leon. So I would think, this is my guess, and these stories started coming out that players were easy. Some players were upset that Rick was there. Remember, I think our own Brian Hillside reported that, right? That his presence bothered some people. But he is an assistant coach. It wasn't like he was, I don't know, driving an Amazon truck and they said, hey, your son's the best player on the team. Would you coach the team? The guy's been in the NBA forever, and he coached. He was an assistant coach in Denver, then he worked with Tom in Chicago, Minnesota. He was a high school coach in Camden, which is a big high school team. Then he was on the Knicks. So the guy was obviously a basketball player.
No district to Camden, but
Rick
Camden is
said,
ghetto.
you know what? I guarantee you they're paying him the same amount of money, so it's not like he's taking
100%.
a pay cut. And it kind of does it. That's the one. So I think this was like a smart thing for them. First of all, whoever he was, let him be that guy. Rick's still going to be on staff. I have no idea where he's going to sit.
Let me see.
I don't really think that matters.
Do you think the military has gone soft?
Make sure you give me the money, right? Everyone always says I'm now the executive VP in charge of strategic, whatever they come up with.
As far as like women, as long as I've been in the military, it's always been women. I don't have problems with women being in the military and combat or any of that. If they want to do it, I'm all for it. As far as transgender sailors, I never had any experience with them. And to keep it real, it's been gay people in the military since the beginning of the time. I don't have no problems with them. More people outside of the military talk about it than people in the military. We don't sit around and have conversations about it. I don't think none of us really care. We too busy like working to even care. I feel like if you want to serve. You don't throw no obstacles. You ain't throwing no parties for you either. Just come and do your job. You work hard. Cool, man. When you in the middle of a fight, especially a firefight, you don't care what the person's preferences are. You trying to get up out that situation. Like I said, we don't discuss it. We don't really. It ain't no like talking point. It ain't. We don't care. At least the people I be around, nobody cares. Nobody treats it. Everybody's treated the same. Favoritism before you see any of that other shit. In my opinion. My experiences, I seen a lot of favoritism. I seen people get off because of favoritism. Good morning. And thank you for your service as an Army mom, because your families, they go through the heart of it. They go through the worst part because they got to do a lot when you're not around. They got to handle a lot. And it's stressful for them not knowing when you coming back or if you coming back.
I think people are totally underrating how prepared he is. And you might not like that. And I've said it, like I've been a part of the Bulls. So I was with the Celtics and heading to KC and went to the Bulls. And a lot of people thought it was too much.
You're welcome. And thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I know when I get to work, though, I need to write a note. As soon as I get there, put a reminder in my phone. I got to put in for some vacation. I think I got to check. I think I got like 20-something use or lose days that I gotta take, so I need to take it. My son's birthday coming up, and he wanna go back home to New York to see his cousins, and we'll probably do a weekend trip for that. But If I do that, I need to take like a Monday, Tuesday off too, so I ain't gotta rush back. I'd rather travel on a weekday, so I appreciate you, sub, man. YouTube and erasing my subs. Thank you. I like to say thank you from my heart for the support. I had to boot a couple of people out this morning because they was talking crazy about me being in the military, dropping all types of disrespectful comments inside of the chat. When I stream at night, when I'm not streaming from my phone, I'm streaming from my studio, I'm more interactive with the chat because I ain't driving. Usually when I get on from the phone, I'm driving. When I was in training, I did a whole lot of streaming because I streamed from, my hotel room. And I did like food reviews. Like I was living out of the hotel for 3.5 months, so I'll take y'all with me traveling to go to restaurants and to the gym, and,
He can't switch on the perimeter, and he doesn't do a great job at guarding the rim. So luckily, he's a great point guard, and he can space the floor, and he can really get hot. Like when he's on fire, he can score 20 points in the quarter. But defensively, how do you expect to have a good defense with him out there? So I think that Mike Brown will say, all right, we're going to play Mitch Robinson a little bit more if he's healthy. Their defense will go up, and their offense will go down.
I think so as well. All right, so we got a lot more to get into, Brian. We got headlines coming up, and then Kevin Durant.
I ain't gonna lie, these two on this NBA radio, they some of the biggest haters, the biggest two-man hater group that I heard in a long time on the radio.
Kevin Durant has got revisionist history on his mind. We'll get into all that when we get back. Starting line of NBA radio.
I mean, I guess it pays because they had this show for a while. As soon as I get to the next light, I'll read the comments. Get to work and I gotta put in for a vacation. At least to take leave for like a couple of days. I gotta see how many days I got. The exact days, I think I got like 20. I at least got 3 weeks left that I gotta burn. I know I got 90-something days altogether. But I think I could carry 60 or something like that. I don't know. I gotta check. I might have more than need to burn. 20-something days. If I might have 30, I need to burn. If I got 30, I need to burn. Then I guess I'm going on vacation somewhere. I can't really go for my birthday because my birthday's too close to when school starts up. But I can go. Maybe I could do that. Just a whole family vacation. A family cruise or something. Or go to Disney World. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I'll see. I'll look all that up when I'm at work. But I refuse to lose leave days. That's what they should do. They shouldn't do use or lose. What they should do is use or they pay you those days. Because like in between re-enlistment, you can sell up to 30 days. What they should do is just give you those days, because like when you go on this paid leave, just give you that extra money. Nobody ain't gonna complain about that. Let's see. The light light is turning red right now. But that's what I think they should do. They should just pay you the money. No different. Appreciate you subscribing. Yeah, people do like drama, man. You vote Disney? Living in? Yeah, I got friends down there that I went to school with that live in Orlando. Thank you for the support. You ain't gonna bash the Knicks. That's blasphemy. That's blasphemy. That's my team. That's my team. That's my team. Yeah, if I do it without the kids, then I'll find an adult joint. Yeah, I like Brunson, but I got beef with Brunson playing style just because what they need to get is a point guard that's I feel like Brunson is an undersized shooting guard. He's not a point guard. I feel like he's a shooting guard that can play point. Like if you compare him to Tyrese Halliburton is a point guard that can score. But Brunson is unbelievable. He's a star. I give him that. He's a star and he's crafty. But if they put a two guard that's a playmaker next to him or a forward that's a playmaker like Jokic, right? I'm just using him as an example. I know damn well we're not getting Jokic. But Jokic makes his team so good because he's a big man that can pass, you know? So you could do a lot of point of attack from him. But if you get either, like Karl Anthony Towns, he be acting timid towards the end of the season. But if you get another playmaker out there that's a threat that defense has got to play, it's choose your poison at that point, you know? I think OG Anunoby is overrated. I don't think he's worth that contract they gave him. I think he's good. I don't even think he's a star. I think he's just a good role player. I'm getting close to base, so I know my service probably act up the closer I get to base. But yeah, I've been a diehard Knicks fan my whole life, you know. I was a Kobe fan too, so if you find some old archives with me cheering for the Lakers, I was really just cheering for Kobe, you know. I always been a Melo fan from his Syracuse days. I even had a Syracuse jersey. But I've been a Knicks fan, always been a Knicks fan, even when we was terrible. Growing up, I was never a Jordan fan. I liked the sneakers, but I never really cheered for Jordan. I liked Isaiah Thomas. Your dog name is Kobe. Thank you, man. I hope you have a great day, too. The Mavs, I don't know what the Mavs did with themselves. They had a powerhouse team that they could have won a championship if they'd have ran it back. And then them sending Luka to the Lakers out the clear blue like that, I feel like the NBA is rigged. I've been feeling like the NBA is rigged. I feel like sports is rigged. I feel that it's not like it's hard to 100% like do it, but they put things in effect to kind of sway the outcome. I don't think they leave it to chance like it should be. And this new CBA, I think, is going to ruin the NBA. They're going to have